Hey guys, welcome back to Goose Adventures. I am so glad you're here. Guys, it's fall. I don't know about you, but fall is my favorite time of year. I love it so much. I truly do. I thought we could talk those cozy cravings and I could go over what to do with weight loss plateaus, something I've experienced, something you guys have let me know in the comments that you've experienced. And I brought with me 5 healthy recipes that can help maybe keep us going during our weight loss journey. Now, if you're new here, I'm Jen. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the thumbs up, leave me comments, as all of those helps YouTube to recommend my videos, and I sincerely appreciate that. So I'm on a weight loss journey. I talk about it every time. I've lost over 140 pounds. Now, I did it drug-free and surgery-free, but as I always say, no judgment from me. How you lose the weight is how you lose the weight. I am only talking about how I lost the weight. But I am excited to read your stories in the comments. So keep those coming. And thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate those. If you have tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments. This is a community here. We all help each other out. If you're struggling, let us know. Maybe we can try to think of ways to help motivate together. Whatever it is, we can work together on this. But today I'd like to talk plateaus and fall. But I want to talk about plateaus because I know I've been open about it before. It took me a little bit before I don't even know how much I weighed at my heaviest because I couldn't get on the scale. I had a real problem with that. And I've had many of you say the same in the comments that that's something you struggled with. Once I started to lose the weight, I started to get more comfortable and I wanted to see the numbers, as scary as they were. I wanted to see the numbers. So I did start getting on it. Once I started getting on it, I still have to watch myself. And to this day, I can't get on too often because I get hung up on the numbers and I'm realizing that's not what it's about. At least for me, it's more about getting healthy, maintaining a routine, working on my habits, things like that. And with those good choices, the numbers do fall. But what happens when you hit a plateau? Again, even as somebody who doesn't look at the scale religiously, I have definitely done that where I'll look at the scale and then I'll give it a week and I'll look back and I was just like, oh, it didn't move as much as I wanted or it didn't move or something's going on. There's a plateau. That happens. That is part of it. Plateaus are normal. We need to think about it like that. Plateaus are not failure. Okay. So let's talk plateau busting tips. So I was looking up tips and tricks and I want to share what worked for me and I want to know in the comments what worked for you. If you do hit a plateau, how do we handle it? Okay. One thing that helped me, this sounds weird, but smaller plates. Smaller plates, tweaking my portion for cozy meals or for anything that I felt like was indulgent. Again, I've had to let go of my emotions with food, but getting a smaller portion, getting a smaller plate helped me get smaller portions. Then I felt like I could eat without maybe overindulging. It kept my portions more in check. I've told you before, I personally try to do a 4-bite rule on something that's like an indulgence. And then I kind of check back in with myself and see how I'm feeling and see if that's enough for me or if I feel like I need more. But there are studies out there that show just by getting smaller plates, you can cut your intake by as much as 20%. That's pretty incredible. So another tip that I talk about a lot, something that works for me, and let me remind you all, as I say every video, I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just telling you what helps me. What helps me might not work for you. You need to consult a doctor, nutritionist, whatever you need to do. Do your own homework if you're, to take this seriously and to know what you're getting into. But I'm a big advocate for protein. That is something that I was missing before, and I just didn't understand how it added to feeling full, feeling happy, feeling as far as like happily satiated kind of thing. So yeah, I think the protein and the fiber were things that I was missing before, and by adding and making sure that I'm eating protein rich and fiber rich foods, it it actually, according to my research, curbs your hunger hormones. I never know how to say this word, but I believe it's ghrelin, 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 drops 15% with high protein meals per 2025 nutrition study. So again, that hunger hormone, it's dropping with these high protein meals. Other thing that helps me, I talk about a lot. I try, unless my body tells me otherwise, I'm trying to be an intuitive eater. I try to pay attention to my body as well. I try to work out 6 days a week. Most weeks, that is doable for me. Some weeks, not so much. But I have learned to shift my thinking about exercise. I used to see it as something I had to do and something I never understood why people are like, I'm going to go work out and they're excited about it. I've never been the one excited about it. But it sounds silly, but I found walking for me is like my favorite thing. And now if I don't do my daily walk, I feel like I give myself off. Usually it's Saturday. It depends what's going on over the weekend. But um, I try to take one day a week off. But the other days I really walk. And then I add in things like some resistance, some weights, things like that. But it's mostly about exercise. My exercise is about my movement. And I try to get in some good cardio as well, try to get my heart rate up. But they found that pairing meals with a 10-minute walk can boost your metabolism. But you know what else it does? It can reduce stress by as much as 30%. Again, that is something that I am so into because I've been vocal about I get stressed, I get anxious pretty bad. And a lot of you guys in the comments said similarly. So doing those walks can help not only boost your metabolism, yay, anything to do that, it can reduce stress. So keep that in mind. So I want to go back to the plateau because that is something again that I think is very relatable. A lot of us will struggle with, and I used to be where if I didn't see the results I want or whatever, I would just, it's almost like I get defeated or I give up or something. We're not doing that. That's done. So instead what if you ditch the scale for a week? What if instead you pay attention to things like, how's my energy level? How are my clothes fitting? How's my confidence? That's something I'm so into with charisma and confidence and all that. And so now I can tell a difference if I'm feeling more confident, my shoulders are back and I'm like head up, or there's sometimes I see myself on video. I don't like watching when I go back and edit or something, I'll see that I'm like looking down. If it's a topic that I'm not super into, and I don't mean on this channel, I'm into all these topics. Sometimes with the Harry and Meghan stuff that I cover on my RH Arjun channel, it'll get me down and I'll just be like, well, this is what they did now. But if you'll notice I speak differently. I look right at you. I talk to you a lot because I believe in this stuff. This stuff is important to me. And so, and I do believe in the stuff on the other channel, but I'm saying this stuff is really important. And it shows, I think, in the way I hold myself, the way my mom talks about that. Hi, Mom, if you're watching, Mom watches these. She says I speak differently over here. And I do, because I so wholeheartedly believe in this stuff. And so that's kind of like a marker for my mood. My mood is that I believe wholeheartedly in the benefits of eating healthy and exercise, something I didn't understand before, but something that I live. So those are things that you can pay attention to rather than the scale to look past the plateaus. That's a way to track your progress differently. Also, there's community support. I'm telling you, this is a community right here. Lean on each other, lean on me. Let's lean on each other for support. Lean on friends. Lean on if you have like an online group. Stuff like that. Look at places for accountability. I've said here we could become accountability buddies. Dylan taught me that word from winning communication. Stuff like that. We can be accountable and help each other out. So I want you to think about that. Plateaus are your body preparing for the next big win. That's how I choose to see it, right? There might be a reason. And I got to say, I've said before, women have hormonal things going on every month, and I know that can make things, and I'm so not about excuses here. I'd rather just have real talk, but that definitely affects me by a pound or two. And water and things, they can all affect you. So try not to get hung up on if it's that kind of thing. It's more if you start to see, I would say, patterns. Look for patterns, whether it's this or whatever it is. Just think about that. Okay, let's talk some healthy fall recipes, shall we? So I'm honest about not being the best cook, but I have people in my life, hi, if you're watching, that are great cooks. And so they help me come up with ideas. I also do a lot of just Googling healthy, easy recipes. I think about what ingredients I have, what's not going to cost me a fortune, what's not going to take a ton of time, and what would my gosling eat as well. So those are things that help me. But I'm going to talk to you about some simple ingredients. Most of these, I believe, are about 5 ingredient dishes that will they're healthy fall recipes. So take them, leave them, tweak them, whatever you want. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. These are just some that I have found, some that I've personally made, and some I'm dying to make. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. Pumpkin chicken salad. Okay. So I always talk about grilled chicken as a staple and something that I eat quite often. I make it at the beginning of the week, so I just have it to mix into things pretty easily. So grilled chicken, spinach, roast pumpkin chunks, feta, and yogurt dill. If you mix these together, you get this. Again, it's just a pumpkin chicken salad. I personally love the flavor. I think it's great. It adds, again, you're adding in some of the rainbow. You're getting the nutrition. You end up with a high protein recipe here. It ends up being about 350 calories per serving, depending on how you make the yogurt dill. But I like to use a Greek yogurt with dill. And so with that and mix it all in, you're about 350 calories a serving, and that's pretty good. And that's a protein packed snack. And again, you have the pumpkin, the fall, I can't help it. All right, here's another one. Another one of my friends has been making apple cinnamon things. And so I've been craving apple cinnamon. So I was thinking, what could I do with apple cinnamon? How about apple cinnamon oats? So you take your oats and your diced apple. You can add in things like almond butter, cinnamon, even a scoop of protein powder to get that extra kick. And something like that will keep you full for hours. So that ends up being about 400 calories, depending on exactly what you add in there. But something like what I just told you is about 400 calories, and that will keep you full for a very long time. And it's protein rich. So another one, as you know, I talk about my love of black beans. So here's a good one for you. If you have so this is called bean stuffed acorn squash. So you know how they do the squash halves? I don't know about your store, but like my local Publix here in Florida, they have the roasted squash halves. So I get those sometimes. And you can stick black beans in there, grilled veggies. That's a great way to add some rainbow, some color in there. Add in a sprinkle of Parmesan, and you end up with this fiber-packed, really healthy meal for only about 300 calories. Something like that is delicious. It'll fill you up. I would even, if it were me, I'm sprinkling on like taco seasoning or something like that, depending on what flavors you like, some sort of seasoning to give it a little kick if you want. But all the grilled veggies, all the healthy black beans, it's going to be fiber packed and protein rich. And again, you're about 300 calories. That's pretty good if you ask me. So another easy thing that you could do is look at making like a spiced veggie soup. So you could use things like carrots and zucchini. And I personally really like lentils. Lentils don't have much of a flavor, but whatever you add them to, I find they usually take on that flavor. So you could add like carrot, zucchini, warming spices like turmeric, something like that. And you could, with this, you could make a bunch of it and do the prepping, the batch prepping. Oh, sorry, in advance. And something like that ends up being about 200 calories per bowl. That's pretty great. And then finally, you could do something like a grilled chicken harvest bowl. So that would be like have your grilled chicken, do some roasted sweet potatoes, some kale, maybe do like a light apple cider vinaigrette, something like that. Mix it together, and you have this great flavor with a bunch of healthy ingredients, and it ends up being about 450 calories. I personally would add more grilled vegetables to it to add more of the rainbow. To me, I love grilled vegetables, so I'm trying to add those to anything like this just to give it more of that. I love the roasted vegetable or the grilled vegetable flavor. But again, you can season it with different ways to give it, if you like a little more spice, if you like a little more heat, if you like a little more flavor, whatever, you can do things like that. But that's a great, healthy fall. It could be a snack. To me, that sounds more like a meal. It sounds pretty delicious. So those are some options. And again, I hope it helps you get motivated. I hope it helps you cozy for fall. And this is where I really want you to chime in. Tell me about are you in a plateau? Have you been through a plateau? What helped you get through a plateau? Do you like fall? Let me know that as well. And do you have a healthy fall recipe? This isn't fall specific, but something I've been into lately is I take just a little piece of turkey and a piece of cheese and an apple, like an apple slice, and I just eat it together like that. And there's something so delicious about that because you're getting the salty from the meat, you're getting that hit of cheese, and you're getting the sweet from the fruit. It's just an easy, healthy snack. If I'm feeling frisky, I'll just stick it on a toothpick and I'll have a little plate of them and they're delicious. So stuff like that. But I'm looking for from you, what are your, it can be fall or not fall, it doesn't matter, but your healthy, easy things like this. It just has a few ingredients that if somebody's in a pinch, they probably have most of the stuff in their pantry and that might help them get through a plateau. Let me know if there's one that's stuck out to you or something that you recommend. I appreciate that very much. So that's going to do it for me. This one was fun. I hope you enjoyed this. This one was a little different, and I just thought it'd be fun and helpful to talk something that I think a lot of us struggle with, and to talk healthy, easy recipes. If you have one, let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all your lovely comments. I appreciate all your support. I can't wait to read your comments on this one. If you want to further support, my main channel is RHR Jen. That's where I'm talking all things royal family. I go into a lot of Harry and Meghan stuff, royal family, all that. Check that out if you're least bit interested. In the meantime, you can find me here talking what gets us motivated, healthy, what I ate in a day, what I eat to maintain, what I've eaten to lose weight, that sort of thing, before and after pictures, all that stuff. This is a really great group. So I'm glad you're here and I appreciate you all so much. If you do get the option to hype, that's a new thing that YouTube is rolling out. I've talked about it on the other channel. If you get the option to hype one of these videos, please consider doing that. It's something in testing. I think this channel will qualify. So if you get the option, it'll show it, I believe, somewhere maybe near where you comment. You can hit hype and it just helps recommend the video. So think about that, consider it, and I would sincerely appreciate that. I hope you all have the best day. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this, and let me know healthy ways you're going to celebrate fall. If it's healthy foods, if it's getting out and enjoying a walk in the brisk fall air, if it's anything, if it's going to a pumpkin patch or an apple farm or whatever it is, let me know. I love fall activities. And now that I'm more into exercise, I look for things that get me physical activity like that. So if there's something you like to do, let me know. All right, take care, stay healthy. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye. Man, I love this channel so much. I really do. This means so much to me. This is all the things that I love. I love getting healthy. I love the idea of motivating people. I love being excited about this stuff. And I hope you are too. And I can't wait to read your comments on this. I just want to sincerely thank you for taking the time and being so positive in the comments. I've seen you all support each other and being so uplifting. And it makes my heart so happy. So thank you for that. And I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. Take care. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye. I always sing that song.